Good evening, Tottenham fans. I was watching Talksport today, and Brad Friedel was on there, and he was speaking about Christian Romero, and he was talking about, is he a good leader? Is he a good captain? And Brad Friedel was like, no. He goes, that's the guy that I would have a run in with in the changing rooms if he was in my side, because this guy, he said, is petulant. He said he's not a good captain. He doesn't lead by example. And he plays well for Argentina because he's got people like Messi and Martinez to hold him in line. And I have to agree with him, because Christian Romero, since he's got the captaincy, he's had 8 yellow cards and 2 red cards, missing 6 games in total just from having cards. That's 1/6 of a season he's missed just from getting cards this season so far. He's letting the team down constantly by giving the ball away, not being in the right position for goals. Trotting back, like against Nottingham Forest, I watched him just trot back really slowly, like somebody was crossing the road. You've just let someone cross the road and they do that fake little run across the road. He did that for the second goal against Nottingham Forest. I was at the game. I was watching him closely. And I have to say, at this current moment, Christian Romero is the 3rd best centre-back we have at this club. He's not my first choice. When I was watching Danso, Van der Ven and Romero for Nottingham Forest, I was watching them 3 closely. I was in the North Stand, so in the first half, I was directly behind them. And the best defender on the pitch by far was Kevin Danso. Van der Ven was 2nd and Romero was 3rd. Now, people say Romero's strengths are playing the ball forward from the back, playing the ball in between the lines and that. I didn't see that. What I saw was when he got the ball, even when we was 2-0 down, he was slowing the game right down. He was trying to pick the easiest pass he could. And then half the time, whoever he passed it to put them under huge pressure. He was whacking it into their feet with a man on their back, and they had to try and square him out of trouble. He's constantly getting beaten in the air. Danso was winning everything in the air. He was trotting around, moaning at people. He wasn't bigging people up. He wasn't trying to, push the team forward. After we let in the second goal, he started shouting at other players like it was their fault, when in fact, if he just sprinted for that ball, he would have got it. There's just so much to his game. He's petulant. He gives away stupid fouls. He acts like a child when we start losing. His game really drops when we let in goals. And to think about it as well, with the World Cup coming up, do you really think that this guy is going to be giving his all towards the end of the season? Because he isn't. He won't. And he won't want to risk getting injured for this team. He knows if we go down, he can just leave. And this is not just a bash on Romero. It was because Talksport were talking about it, whether he's a good leader or not. And I had to sit back and think about, is he? And when people were calling him world class, and I have to be very brutally honest, he is not world class. He is not. He is nowhere near world class. And he signed a 5-year contract not long ago. Why do you think that was? He signed that 5-year contract because nobody was willing to pay big money for this guy. If Real Madrid came in with 80 million for Romero, Tottenham would have sold him. I'm so sure of it. But they didn't. Nobody came in. Nobody wanted him. So he thought, I'll stay at Spurs. Show my loyalty. This is what that was about. This guy is our 3rd best defender. 3rd best centre-back at the club. I'm telling you, he is. If you don't believe me, watch him live. Watch him compared to Van der Ven and Danso. Danso is levels above Romero at the moment. And I don't know whether because Romero's really dropped his levels or he's always been like that. I think he's really, really overrated. And I think playing players like him, a petulant player that will not give his all because he's thinking about the World Cup, I do not want him in the first team. I would rather have Danso and Van der Ven playing. I really would. I'd rather have them 2 playing because we will be more solid, especially if we're playing 2 centre-backs and not 3. Romero brings harshness. He brings tough tackling. He brings he brings fouls, he brings yellow cards, he brings worry. He makes me worried. He makes me think he's going to do something stupid and we're going to go down to 10 men and we're going to end up losing the game. He's done it twice already this season. It just, for me, I just don't know why he's so rated so highly. When I was watching him live, I thought, wow, what is all the hype about this guy? Seriously, we need to start thinking, if Vuskovic comes in the summer, comes back to Spurs in the summer, he'll be ahead of Romero within a month. He will. He'll be ahead of him within a month. Romero is most of the time a liability. He has, let's give him his dues. He has world class performances. There's times where you think, wow, he's really, really good. Then you think, and then other times you think, oh, that was a solid performance. But I'm telling you now, 70% of the time, he's a liability, or he's giving the ball away, or he's trotting back and he's not in the right position, or he's been caught out of position, or he's losing headers, or he's just kicking players for no reason, or he's getting stupid yellow cards. Like, I think it was against Atletico when we were on top. He got a stupid yellow card. I think it was him anyway. I don't want to blame him if he didn't, but it's this guy, like him and anybody else that's got his attitude, needs to not be in this team. Because I was saying this to my mate Nigel, we've got lots of good individual players, but we're not a good team. So what does that mean? Because that means there's a breakage somewhere. That means players are not working together. And I don't think Romero is a team player unless he's playing for Argentina, because he respects those players. I don't think he respects the players that he's got around him. So I honestly don't think he's playing as a team. You see him sometimes. He's made a mistake at the back. We're losing the game. And you see him just sprinting up front and staying up front, trying to score goals. Yes, he does score goals as well. But he's trying to make up for mistakes. And he's left massive gaps at the back. And I don't think that's teamwork. His job is not to do that. His job is to stop goals from going in. And with Van der Ven and Romero have been fit all season. Most of the season. Apart from when, obviously, he's not been playing for red cards. And this is probably the worst defensive year we've had. This was worse than the AM season. We're really poor at the back. Any set pieces come in, we look vulnerable. Any crosses come in, we look vulnerable. Romero constantly out of position. When I was watching Danso was in the right position at the right time all the time. Every time the ball was coming in, Danso's ball. That was all I was seeing. So I don't know whether Romero's down tools, and maybe you guys have seen a better Romero, because I've seen some good Romero performances, like the Europa League final. I think he was immense in the Europa League final. But I've not seen him consistently being good week in, week out. I don't want to say it because I hate them, but Saliba and Gabriel, if you watch them, they have the same standard every single week, which puts them at the elite level. Romero has a good game 1 in 8 games. He has a good game, and it has to be an important game. If it's not an important game, he's not really that bothered. He baffles me because he's got a lot of talent. Like I said, he's a good individual player, but he doesn't play well in a team. He isn't a good factor in a team. He's very hostile. He can just do stupid tackles. He can snap within seconds. It's just his ball playing is not that great either. I was watching it. I was trying to defend him and say, right, maybe his ball playing was really good. And I was watching him, and his ball playing is what he just does every single time he gets the ball is he stops, puts his foot on the ball and slows the game right down. Now, Kulusevski got a lot of stick for doing that a couple of seasons ago when we were counter-attacking, and he would get the ball and he would hold it up and he'd look around to see who he's passing to. Romero does that all the time from the back. When we need momentum, when we need the ball going forward, he just stops it and he looks around and he tries to blame people for not being in space and that. But by the time he stopped it, looked around and that, everyone's marked by then. That's why it's making it harder to put the ball through. If he got the ball, quickly played it forward, like there was a time when Papa Sarr had acres of space. He got the ball, he saw Papa Sarr, didn't pass it to him, waited for about 20 seconds until someone came towards him, and then played it to Papa Sarr. Papa Sarr had someone on his back, and then Papa Sarr lost it. And that was Romero's fault. And then people were groaning at Papa Sarr, but it wasn't him. Papa Sarr made the space. He should have gave it to him earlier, and he didn't. This sounds like I'm bashing Romero, but I think we have to get real as Spurs fans that players like him are going to get us relegated, because we need players like him on the bench. We need a strong manager to come in and say, if you're not going to perform, get out of my team, because this is very, very serious. We can't have people being in this squad that are not going to give their all or being petulant. We can't have them in our squad. We need people like Danso, who puts his head in for everything, puts his tackles in for everything. You know, he may not be the best ball player, but I didn't see him lose the ball many times. He got the ball and played it simple. It's not hard to play simple passes out. You don't have to be a professional ball player in the back. You don't have to be a number 6 great passer of the ball. You just give it to Archie Gray, and Gray does it. That's what Danso was doing all game, giving it to Gray, and Gray was doing the good passes out like that. It's simple. But for me, I don't think he's a good leader. I don't think he's a good captain. And I seriously don't think he's world class. Now, this sounds like a really negative video, but what it is really is I still believe we can stay up if we start realizing these things. We stop overhyping players like this and put him on the bench and show him that you're not bigger than Tottenham. Because I think he thinks he's better than all the other players. He's not showing them any respect by doing what he's doing. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think Romero is world class? Do you think he's our best defender? Or do you agree with me? Do you think he's our third best defender or second best defender in the club at the moment? Because at the moment, I think his levels have dropped massively. Thank you for watching. Come on, you Spurs.